Two, one. Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you with another Age of Sigmar video. In this video, we're going to be doing another one of those things that scare players. And this episode will be things that scare FyreSlayers players. That's right, we've got Dave back. Third time's the charm here, folks. Love him. Dave G. Dead, friend of the channel. And so we're talking stunties.
Hey everybody. Yep, so we're talking about our short-legged, Spartan-esque, right, superhuman going to inject their deceased god into their veins, super soldiers of the AOS setting, right?
Yeah.
First off, I adore the lore on these guys.
It's really good lore.
So cool. The model range leaves much to be desired.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're so cool, and there's so many different things I wish they would do. So
that's
things there's FyreSlayers. Oh, go ahead.
Say that's one thing to be scared of. The range of models.
Yeah. So as always when I do these videos, I'm gonna start big picture and work my way in, right?
Yep.
So big picture, what do FyreSlayers do? FyreSlayers are tough. They are they have the ability to like buff a unit to wazoo, right? They can take trash and make it kill things, right? With their runes, with their once per game abilities, right? The neat part about FyreSlayers is you can just pick all these little things and you can supercharge one thing or just buff everything or like make sure that you have interlaced buffs, right? One great thing about FyreSlayers is they have wards coming out their ears. It is so easy to get wards. You can get wards off of one of your prayer invocations. You can get wards off your banner guy. You can get wards off of one of your runes. Like, you can get wards freaking everywhere. Right?
I swear, the game we played where you had like 4 or 5 magma drops, you had like an army-wide ward. It felt like every time I needed to kill something, like, yeah, cool, this is like a 4-up ward, this is a 5. Like, it was just wards on wards on wards.
Because and they move around. That's the part that really messes with your opponent. You're like, all right, so this time I'm getting a ward off this firewall, and next time I'm getting a ward because I popped my rune. Oh, and the time after that I'm getting a ward because I decided to plant my staff and give everyone a ward. Oh, and then I'm gonna blow the forge and give everyone a ward.
That's right, the forge too. Ugh. All right, Dave.
So wards are everywhere. They are stout dwarves. Most of them are 2 wounds, right? When the book came out, I was a big proponent of 30 shield Volks, right? Because shield Volks could take the charge from fulminators, and not many things in the game could.
That is true. That was a true fact. You can run the numbers on that.
Yep. Anecdotal experience, it definitely worked for me on 2 games. Yep. It does work, right? You can put it out there. You can give them -1 to be wounded, right? You can just make them tough, throw them in that ward, right? Give them fight on death. Go nuts, right? There's lots of cool things about FyreSlayers. What do FyreSlayers not like? Zoom in a little.
Things that scare FyreSlayer players.
We got short, stunty legs, man.
Yeah.
If you mess with our movement, it is rough.
Yeah, they skip leg day when they go to the gym. They can lift, bro, but
all days are leg days. We just can't increase our stride at all.
Yeah.
When you're movement 4 across the whole army, unless you're on a big dragon thing, it's rough.
That dragon thing don't fly either.
No, nothing flies. We're too dense. Right? I don't understand why Games Workshop has decided that you're either on foot or on a giant magma draw. There's nothing in between. I still think Rocco and I were talking about this before the show, but I still think they should take those Snarlfang wolves, kick the gits off of them, and give them to the FyreSlayers. You know how fast that would sell? Hey, I'm a Slayer on a wolf.
Yep. Get me a chariot, man. Get me like a Valkyrie FyreSlayer lady throwing javelins as light cav as a harassing. I do not
understand why we haven't embraced a Valkyrie setting. Oof.
Yeah. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there right now.
Neither there, right? So things we're worried about. Speed, right?
Yep.
We don't like it if you can shut off. If you can force us to move, like if you're a piece of chaos, you can make me move back, right? Nothing worse than moving your Hearthguard Berserkers 12 inches backwards.
That's
That's
true.
3 turns of walking.
That's true. When you did it with
Right?
my turtle, that was 1 turn she was out of place. But for FyreSlayers, woo.
Yeah, it's fun filled and exciting. I went to Rubicon and I did it to someone's Bastillodon and I pulled it 12
Oh,
inches towards me and
oh,
then swarmed
jeez.
it with Ungor, Unga Bunga Gore. It
Yeah,
was fun filled and exciting.
there you go.
Um, so short links. We don't like movement. We don't like things that are going to affect our movement, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Wards. We live and die by them, right? If you
Literally.
can shut if you can shut off our wards, it is not a pretty picture, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Uh, we have one of the best bodyguards, bodyguard units, bodyguard saves in the game, right?
Yep.
Hearthguard Berserkers being able to shunt wounds and get a 4-up ward on top of that, right? Huge, huge. You shut the wards off, they're just 2 wound dwarves with a 5-up armor save. Not great.
Yeah. And as you've heard on some of these other videos we've been doing now, t-shirt saves just don't do it.
Don't do it. Because tying into that movement, taking up space can become rough, right? So if you have endless spells, if you have other invocations, you have other things that you put in the path,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, you can't, like, they don't block movement, but if I can't make it all the way through it,
Yeah.
it becomes rough, right?
Oh, totally, totally. And some of these spells, like suffocating Gravetide, that's a huge
Mm-hmm.
footprint.
Right.
Can you
Now,
actually move a big unit all the way over?
right. Now, when it comes to normal spells, like we do have the Null City icon, right? So we have a spell ward, right? So
Yep.
we can try to hunker down and see if we roll like a 4-up, I believe it is.
Sure. If you get pulled out of position, though.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know. Um,
Yeah.
if we want to narrow that down into the problem is
Please.
it's hard to narrow this down into factions, right? So Soul Blight has Legion of Blood that can heroic action turn off wards, right? And then they will
Yep.
shred. Right? You get a
Yep.
Vampire Lord on a Zombie Dragon coming into Hearthguard Berserkers, right?
That's rough.
It can be rough. It can be
I
rough.
heard they're -3 rend on that Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon now.
Yeah, yeah.
With
Oh,
enough attacks to do
another thing
something.
Another
Yeah.
thing that the FyreSlayers don't want is shutting off commands, right? Because
Oh,
right now
sure.
we have a few charge us, spend a command point, we can fight first.
Yep.
Haha, that's great. If you shut
Yeah.
off our commands, that makes it rough.
Yeah. That's really because you're in like a semi-elite place. So you don't really have the bodies to fully contest objectives like Gloomspike Kits, but you're not necessarily like Stormcast Dragons at their peak.
Right.
You're not a bunch of fulminators coming in. You're like Bulgor esque to put in
Sure.
like a
Yeah,
Beast of Chaos kind of a place.
we're in the wound dense infantry, right? So like
Yeah.
1 step up, single wound. We're kind of dense
Yeah,
there.
like
Um,
ogres
sure.
in
Yeah.
that sense. But you do have good
Um,
rend, you have good attacks generally.
well, we can get good rend,
Go on. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Right. So our rend isn't great to start. Right? It's only rend 1 on most things, right?
Yeah.
Rend 2 on Hearth cards. But we got a way to pop 4 extra rend.
That's right. The once
Right.
per game. That's what I'm thinking of.
We
Okay.
got a rune. If you hit the 6 or a 5, if you take the command trait, you get
Mhm.
-2 rend. Right. So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
But being able to apply the rend rune when you need it is great.
That's true. And there is a rune for some extra movement if I remember right. But again,
Right? So
it's
+2 movement, right?
yeah,
But that puts you up to speed 6, right? Or movement 6, right?
for 1 turn.
1 turn.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing Magma Drops, speed hurts.
That's true. That's true. All right, so we've got speed, we've got ways to turn off command abilities and ward saves. So I'm also thinking like Slaves to Darkness because there should be like a command ability that messes with that.
OBR.
OBR 100%. That's a rough matchup. So
Yeah,
what do you try to do playing against new OBR, Ossiarch Bone Reapers?
So we do have the 1 teleport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we do have our magma pikes, right?
Sure.
So I think magma pikes were completely underrated, right? Because they changed them up.
Go on.
Being able to shut down movement on a unit is pretty good, right? Being able to basically, what you do is you shoot them, and I think it's 6s to hit or 6s to wound. One of them, you get -1 movement, right? Up to half movement, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I would try to focus on. I would try to get that block of more tech or that whatever I'm afraid is going to come at me and
Mm-hmm.
shoot it, right?
Makes
And be
sense to
like,
me.
cool, you are speed 2. Now, don't get me wrong, they can definitely get the +3 to move, but being speed 5 or speed 8 is a big difference, right?
Huge, huge. I'm
Um,
looking up
I
to
would try.
confirm. Keep going.
I would try to. I got my book. I could have looked.
Hmm.
I would try to focus that in. I would try to make sure when you're playing an army that is slow like this, you have to be planning.
Hit rolls of 6s,
Yeah, there you go. I knew it was one of the two. Um,
which is
you
still
have
really
to be
nice.
planning. You have to be planning turns in advance. Turns
Yeah.
in advance,
Okay.
right? This is not a reactive. You need to be on the plan where you're going to go, right? So you need to look at all the objectives and decide where you're going to go and what you're going to put in that place,
Okay.
right? The nice part is they have a great prayer lore, right? They have
Yeah.
great invocations, right? So you can similarly, like we just talked about before, as one of our weaknesses, you can use it as a strength as well, and
Sure.
line your engagement line with invocations,
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
right? If someone can't stop there, they can't, pile in, they can't attack as much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you put in your more elite status there where, cool, I can get my whole unit in there. I took the battalion that lets me have the extra reach. I can do these things. You can't come back at me.
Right.
Because you can't
You know,
hit me through the thing. Yeah.
you can and there's multiple different ways you can play. You can go like 4-star if you want, and look to just kind of swarm the board with Volkites. It's
Yeah.
not my favorite, but like it can definitely come in. Like if you were coming into megas or something like that with Sons of
Mm-hmm.
Hemet, whoo baby, that's not what they want to see,
Not at
right?
all.
Right,
And you
like
were
that
saying
is.
Greybeard before? You had a...
So that's a Dave thing. So I really
Okay.
like the Greybeard Lodge.
Okay.
One of the things that I was talking to Rocco off channel right before we
Yeah.
got onto this is I was talking about a Greybeard Lodge. So Greybeard, what it does is it gives you +2 artifacts, and all your foot troops or all your foot heroes get an extra wound. Right?
Sure.
Great. So now you're automatically starting with 3 artifacts. Well, now one of the nice things is you can kind of dive into more of the prayer lore, right? So if you're not taking rune masters, if you're just relying on rune smiters, you can give them more prayers to pick from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's something you want to look at, right? Or you can dive whole. I've gone whole hog with it before and gotten 6 artifacts.
Okay.
Right? You're like, or 5 artifacts. Maybe it's 5.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever it is.
But
Yeah.
still, ton of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Armies don't do that anymore. You know? That's... And Lord knows there's enough out there.
Right. Lofnir also you could run the Magmadross and then not have to worry about the movement, right?
That's
Because
true.
like it's more elite. You're playing more Monster Mash, but you still have range weapons and things.
Yep. Yep.
Still don't understand why GW kept the flamethrower on them, but whatever.
You know, that zombies weren't a problem at the time that this flamethrower thing was made.
Free my flamethrowers.
Flamethrower, you ain't do nothing wrong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I'm hearing good things here. You know, sure, the movement is rough, but you have your own ways to counter it. And you could set up the same kind of problem to someone else. You know, sure, turning off command abilities is rough, but you could still kill the thing. You can still give yourself enough red and still buff yourself through other means. You know, I'm hearing ward saves being gone are hard. That just hurts everybody. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, we just kind of rely on it a lot. Right?
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing if you had your Phoenix Guard and I said, "Hey man, you don't get your ward save." You're like, "No, well."
My whole reason for existing and being an elite infantry unit.
Right.
Yeah. And then so we'll just ignore that one fact, but that I'm hearing we have
the biggest
play.
thing with FyreSlayers is you have to build for it. Right?
Yes.
So you need to look at it and say, "Hey, look, Nurgle's on the rise. I need to go into this without like worrying about my wards as much. So I need to focus on this." Right? Or
Sure.
hey, Squigs and zombies are on the rise, so I need to focus more on this, right? What can I do to wipe them, right?
Yeah.
I'm on Volkites instead of Hearthguard type of things.
Yep. And then you have lots of attacks, lots of bodies, fight on death, so you can trade better with them.
Right.
That makes sense. So again, it's being proactive, seeing what's around you. What are you preparing for with your local metas to tournament metas, and going on from there. You have a lot of tools for not a lot of different units, So you're most likely have already collected the thing you need to bring.
True.
You know, that's I'm looking at all the positives I can here, Dave. And you know, it's a very nice faction that has a lot of room to grow. I'm an elf player. I had to make some jokes about dwarves, but you know, they're just so short. Ah,
Well,
yeah. But you know, you play a fire spewing dwarf in our D&D campaign, so you know that's nice. In other
yeah.
universes, they're cool.
Other universes, they're cool.
Well, with that, ladies, it's a great army. I swear. Don't roast me in the comments too hard. Um. Anyway, I'm gonna make horrible puns and dad jokes throughout the rest of this if I don't say goodbye now. So thank you all for coming to the video. You know, be nice, roll some dice, and we'll see you next time. Bye.